Welcome to the Podcast Discovery Show, the podcast that's about other podcasts, where every single week we have a deep dive discussion about the podcast we recommended last week. And at the end of this episode, we are going to recommend another one, and we're going to talk about that one next week. I'm Kirk.
And I am Zach.
And this week we're talking about the Hypotheticast. This was a recommendation from our good friends over at This Week Today. And the episode we're going to talk about is episode 108, 1 hour in the snake cage.
So this is a very conversational type of show. If you like the show where you feel like you're a part of a conversation between some friends, this is a great one. And in this episode, they get into something that we might have had a similar type of discussion on our show at some point.
I think we did almost this exact thing on a Todd's maybe a year and a half, almost 2 years ago now. I remember it was at Josh's house. I can visualize it. It's foggy, but it's there. We did this exact thing. It wasn't quite the one that you brought that one time of the toddlers trying to do you remember that one?
I do remember that.
Cutting out.
I do remember that one.
We won't do that one, but that was an interesting one. It's how to fend
It's
off.
hypothetical. It's not real. I'm not actually advocating toddler destruction.
But it was Josh the one that got offended because we were talking about how you would fend off, what was it, like 1,000 toddlers trying to kill you or something?
Yeah.
Like, how would you defend yourself?
And I mean, I think I read both of these things on Reddit. I think I read the one about like choose your animal pair or like choose your animal groups, and then also the how would you defend yourself against an army of toddlers.
So essentially, the format of the show is, and we've only listened to this one episode. You know, I don't really know if this is the norm, but it feels like they intro with something that is related to what the hypothetical question is going to be. So like they talked about, what was it, the 10 most deadliest animals in the world?
Yeah. Yeah,
And so
because they kind of went through it.
With that. Yeah, they opened with that, then they talked about that for a little bit. And by the way, we didn't mention the host names, which we try to do now. There's Mike. There's Emily. Oh, wait. Mike is a human being. This is their intro. This is what they did. Mike, he's a human being. Emily is a lady. And David, I put that he bikes to work and then buses back home. And then he said it was a lie. And I got angry because I already wrote it down. But so
I feel like if you ever...
Mike, Emily, and David.
If you ever tell people that you're a human being, that sounds like something a robot would say. Personally, that's at least how I kind of view it.
Yeah. But so these are the hosts, and like I said, they kind of open up with a discussion that seems like it's going to lead them into what their hypothetical question is going to be, and then they have a big hypothetical question that they dive really deep into, and it's just always, hypothetical questions are always just fun. You know, like what would you do in this scenario? And it's always like a preposterous, ridiculous scenario. And this one was about animals.
Yeah, and this one is about specifically, you have to choose two of these things, and you fight the rest. You fight the ones you don't choose. So here's the list. 50 hawks, 10 crocodiles, 3 big bears, 7 bulls, 1 man with a gun, 15 wolves, 10,000 rats, 5 gorillas, 4 lions, and the 2 groups that you don't choose all fight you.
It's ridiculous hypothetical for sure. And I'm going to put this in all of our chats because I think that everybody that's watching needs to tell us what they would do in this situation, or at least what would be the 2
what's your choice?
Groups of animals.
What is your choice? And in the episode, they talk about, okay, so you have 50 hawks. Could you just have them fly you away? And we actually did a little research on this.
We did.
You cannot. They can only carry under their body weight. And most hawks are like between 3 and 4 pounds. And so that's only about 100 pounds. So unless you are very small, the hawks cannot fly you off of the island.
I like that idea. Can you make a raft out of the rats, however?
I think they established they aren't like trained rats. They just are protective. You can't like do weird stuff with them. Well, actually, there was an idea on there that was based off a weird rat thing.
what the rat mech suit.
Yeah, he wanted to be a Gundam that was made out of rats. Essentially, I think was his exact reference.
Yeah, I think that was Mike. He said that he wanted to make a mech suit out of rats, which I thought it was fascinating that all three of them did have the rats. And I get it. I think that
I think just 10,000 of them
it's
makes it
just the
like,
number, man. So many.
yeah, I can't even visualize what 10,000 of something like that would look like coming at you. I feel like it would look like a brown wave just surging at you and then destroying you.
Wave of stinky rats.
Stinky
Uh,
rats.
I did find it fascinating that David was concerned, and I agree. The man with the gun seems kind of useless against all of these animals. It just seems pointless.
I think so too, but I also think the man with the gun is maybe your biggest risk. Like
Yes.
if you don't
So
choose him, he can just shoot you, right?
yeah. So that's what I found fascinating, and it's true. I mean, you got a guy. He doesn't even have to be close to you or anything. You can shoot past all those other animals and still get you. So if you have to go against him, it also it sucks. You got to
I guess
figure
not
something
if
out.
you have a 10,000 rat mech suit. He might not get through it.
I did like how, for the sake of this hypothetical question, they put the background on an island, kind of like Lost. So it's not like this open field battle where everything has to kill everything until last man standing, but it's more like a protracted battle of attrition, which makes it a little bit different. I will say that, because in my visualization of this, it is in a field and there's all these animals and you.
Yeah, that's definitely how I visualized it too. But I don't know. It's just a ridiculous premise. But they get into all kinds of fun scenarios about how this can play out. What are the different ways that this can play out? And I'm trying to think. Kirk, do you know what you would choose here?
I mean, I feel like I have. I feel like you have to go with the 10,000 rats. So that's the one that I'm. Yes, that. And the it's the second choice that I struggle with more. Um, I kind of like the gorillas because they would kind of be my tanks, my beefy guys between me and the other bad guys, the wolves and the lions. But that's the thing, is that four lions is pretty good. Maybe four lions, and I think I would do the lions and the rats. That might be the ones that I would do.
I'm on the fence because I kind of am feeling the bulls because you could ride one and then you just plow through everything. Like, and especially if you have six more alongside, that's quite the phalanx where you can just demolish pretty much anything. Like the rats, just run around with the bulls, you'll just smash them all eventually. I guess I could see riding a bull into
I was gonna
battle.
say, and you could ride a bull. I mean, you could ride a lot of these animals. You could ride a gorilla. You
Can
could ride
you?
a lion.
Can you
You
ride a
could ride.
gorilla?
You can ride a bear.
I don't.
I'm not saying you should, but I'm saying you can.
I mean, yeah, I guess a grizzly bear, you could definitely ride that. Can you ride a gorilla? Has anyone ever done that?
I mean,
Are
it's
they
like,
too smart and they rip your face off?
well, no. The whole premise is that these animals are trying to defend you. So
No, I'm asking
I'm.
beyond that. Has anyone ever
Oh,
ridden a gorilla? Like I guess it has to have happened, right? But I feel like a gorilla would rip your face off
I feel like, yeah, a gorilla might rip your face off.
because they're smart enough that like they would know what you're doing and they would demolish you for it.
But I'm assuming that you could, just like I give Mason piggyback rides. You should just take a piggyback ride on the silverback gorilla.
That is one of the goofier mental images I've ever had. It's just like a gorilla walking around on his back feet and someone sitting on his back.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, why not?
I'm trying to think if there's any animals that would be better included in this. Like if there's some like ringer animal that would really turn the tide. Oh, I know what it is. Tide. Orca. One orca that you can ride off into the
Mm,
horizon.
off of the island.
Yep. Because literally, well, I guess the crocodiles can still swim, but they're not going to do anything to an orca.
No,
That's the ringer right there. Is a killer whale.
those things are big.
You can free willy right out of there.
Free Willy right out of there. Um, let's see. They did bring up the conversation about lions because I guess there was pictures that go with these, and they talked about this as well because they didn't know which what some of the animals were, and they called out the picture because it had the male lions, and they said it was like a gotcha on Twitter so that people can be like, "Hey, those are male lions. They're not even the ones that hunt. They're the ones that sleep all day. You're an idiot for choosing those." Which I guess I'm an idiot because I chose the lions. But I didn't see the picture, guys.
Yeah, no,
But
I didn't see any pictures either.
I did think that was pretty funny. So no, so it's a really fun show, and they kind of closed out with a little bit more of another story having to do with something from this hypothetical question that they posed. And what was it? What I forget the name of the war, but it was a chimpanzee war that was documented by Jane Goodall like a long time ago when she did the whole thing.
I can't
And
remember
it
what it's
was
called, but I remember reading about it.
I remember reading about it as well. I think we actually talked about it in one of the discoveries a long time ago. Um, and it was a 4-year war based off of one chimpanzee being murdered and stuff, which is just crazy. But yeah, they close it with that. Speaking of some of the animals that were in the hypothetical question, but hypothetical questions are they're just fun.
They really are fun. And yeah, this is a fantastic show. Like I said, a great way if you like just kind of hearing some people talking and feel like you're in the room with them. This is a fantastic show for that. It's really funny. We didn't want to kind of go through every single thing they said because you should go check out their show. They're really funny and they had a great conversation about this entire topic. But it did make me think there's got to be some more hypotheticals that I could pose to us. So we're going to stay on animals first. There's a
Can I do one first?
sure.
I just heard this. I just remembered this one. Um, would you rather have to sleep with Danny DeVito every single night, cuddled with him in your bed, or every single day you have to talk to him on the phone for 2 hours? I heard this when I'm a bit man the other day.
This is a tough conversation. This is a tough one.
Yeah, see, because you don't have to like interact with him when you're sleeping with him. You just have to like sleep in the same bed as him.
Kind of have to interact with him
and like cuddle with him because he's a small guy. It'd be like a big hairy teddy bear.
Yeah, it's not really what I'm looking for in my bed. I think I'd do the phone call. I think I would do the phone call.
Yeah, I think I'd do the phone call.
Because I would like to talk to him. I feel like 2 hours every day I'd get to know him very well. But I think I'd go phone call there. I don't know about inviting Danny DeVito to live in my bed.
He'd just be like your body pillow.
Yeah, it's a, no
Danny
thanks.
DeVito body pillow.
No thanks on that. So I found a couple of these on Ask Reddit that are pretty funny ones. There's a population of 7.5 billion humans and 19 billion chickens at any given time. If there was a chicken rebellion, how would you prepare yourself to fight off your 2.7 chickens, give or take a few?
So it'd be 2.7 chickens per person that you would have to fight off
on the planet. Yeah.
So, I could take 2.7 chickens. I've messed with some chickens.
I definitely have kicked a chicken because it was attacking me.
They do like to run after you. They really do. My mom has chickens, and at one point she had a lot of them, and they're little mean turds. I don't like them. But let's see. I think a flamethrower is probably. I'd get one of those
flamethrower.
I'd get one of those Boring Company flamethrowers, and I think we'd be good. We'd have great dinner that night.
Yeah.
Chicken nuggets for life.
No, but the thing you have to think is there's some people who can't fight chickens. there's some people that we're going to have to protect extra chickens. How do we go about dealing with every chicken
I,
rebelling?
s- I still love the flamethrower. I mean, you're killing two birds with one stone. No pun intended.
Oh,
Okay,
really?
I intended. I,
Yeah, I
I
was about to
intended the pun.
say.
Uh, you're both killing the chicken and cooking dinner. I mean, what better solution is there than that?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's kind of a zombie situation too, though, because in all these zombie things, a lot of times they have like guns and stuff, but how are they finding bullets for guns consistently? Like, I feel like at some point the world runs out of bullets when everybody is shooting everything. And so that's why I feel like the real ticket in zombie movies or in chicken apocalypses is
Chicken
a
apocalypse.
sword. And
I mean,
because a sword you can sharpen and it can survive many chickens.
that's not a bad option. I think that together you and me would have good dinner and it would be perfectly portioned into bite-sized pieces.
Yeah, something like that. And then I have another one. You are sent
Okay.
back to the day the Titanic set sail with nothing but a
Ooh.
third class ticket and food and water. Your task is to stop the Titanic from sinking. How do you do this?
Oh my gosh. So you're in third class, so all these rich people aren't going to want to listen to you anyway.
Correct. They will probably think you're insane.
I would, before they got into the treacherous waters where the icebergs and stuff were, I'd do something else to the ship that wouldn't sink it, but would force them to have to go back. Like I'd find a way to make all of the fuel leak out enough that they're gonna be like, "Dang, we're running out of fuel for some weird reason," and then they have to turn back. That's my off the top of my head answer because those fools ain't gonna listen to me.
I would pretend to be a wizard.
Oh,
I
okay.
I would tell them things that they could never have known about their future. And then I would convince the captain to stop doing what he's doing because they just went through. They thought they were like an icebreaker ship. They thought they were impenetrable, and they hit an iceberg and sank.
Unsinkable.
So it's like just don't go over there. Or
You
maybe
must.
honestly, it could be something where what if you just like knock their steering wheel at 1 second? It's like a butterfly effect thing where like they're just slightly off course and they miss the one iceberg. So it's even easier than that. You just like try and schmooze them and get in there and mess up the course a tiny bit so they miss the iceberg.
Every day you go in there and you change the maps just a little bit.
Yeah. Or like I don't know, maybe get the captain drunk because I mean it can't hurt, right? So maybe he'll
Yeah.
maybe he'll make a wrong turn and he'll just miss it.
Maybe he'll make a better decision
Yeah, maybe he'll
because he's drunk.
he'll luck into a better decision. Who knows? But yeah, no, it's really fun to kind of like go through and have these hypotheticals. The guys and gals over at Hypotheticast are amazing at having these conversations, and so everybody should check that out.
Yeah, and it's funny because this week today, Toph over there sent us like 5 different recommendations when we asked for recommendations. Some of them we'd already done before, like Headline Heroes. We've already done that one. I feel like we need to revisit that one again, though. That was a fun show,
That was a
and that
fun
was so
show.
long ago. I think it's like buried in the archive. Uh, but there was some other shows that they mentioned, and I think we're going to cover another one of those shows this week.
I think we are. And this one is called Break a Wish. And from what we gather, because it's kind of hard to tell even from their description, but from what we gather, they watch movies that in some way involve wishes. But basically, what ends up happening is a really fun conversation about what I would say is probably one of the great American classic films.
It is amazing. It's a classic.
It is the lead acting has set the stage
I don't
for
know how
lead
there wasn't an
actors.
Oscar from this movie.
Yeah, at least an honorary one at this point. Like at some point they have to right the wrong. But the movie they're talking about on this episode is Kazaam, not Shazam with Sinbad, which doesn't exist, but Kazaam.
I'm telling you, it existed. And maybe I'm from another parallel universe, but
From a parallel universe of more Sinbad movies. Sounds awesome. Sounds awesome. But yeah, so next week, join us in checking out Break a Wish, and they have an episode called Kazaam.
And we are going to watch that movie together in the Discord probably midweek.
Sometime next week.
If you would like to join us in watching that, then follow us in the Discord, and we will let you guys know when we're going to do that.
And remember,
there's always more to discover.
Thank you for listening to the Podcast Discovery Show. We have a few things we'd like to tell you. First, we would love to hear from you on Twitter at the PDS Official or in our Facebook group, the Podcast Discovery Club.
Secondly, leaving a rating or review on iTunes helps tremendously in giving us visibility and also visibility to the podcast that we recommend. You can also check out our Patreon page to get exclusive bloopers, old episode archives, and other exclusive content while supporting the show.
Finally, seriously, get in touch. We'd love to hear from you about what you love about podcasts. And thank you for being a part of all of the things that we do.
This was a podcast from the Podfix Network. You can check out more shows like it at podfixnetwork.com.